How you doing, Chris?
What's going on, Patrick?
We're here again on the network, but before we get started, we want to mention the passing of a very good friend to the two of us and one of the best businessmen that I knew of in the Buffalo, New York, Western New York area, Charles Madison, who has made his transition on this week. Want to put our deepest sympathy out to his family and friends during this time of transition for all of them.
Yes, a lot of people don't know that Mr. Madison was a huge loss to the community. I was a regular at his bar for years before he sold it, and he was also a good friend. You know, some of my early TV shows, he let me use the bar free of charge during off hours, and I would. You know, a lot of those shows are up on YouTube right now. The Point Blank shows. You know, and he was just a great down to earth guy. You know, I listen to people during the week, and they can't believe it. You know, and rest in peace, Charles. That's all I can say.
Just a good person.
Yes.
Just a good person.
Yes. Yes.
One of the finest men that I have had the privilege of meeting during my lifetime, and certainly want to put out our best to his family. Well, we've got to get down to business here. Today on the network, we're going to take a look at Herman Cain, the Republican presidential now frontrunner, former CEO of Godfather's Pizza, now a political icon throughout the country. Tell me a little bit about Herman Cain. Why is this guy not a frontrunner, Chris?
Well, you know something? Number one, okay, he was former CEO of Godfather's Pizza, but you know something? The Godfather lives in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay?
You know,
and just because you work for Godfather's Pizza doesn't mean you're going to be the godfather of this country. Period. You're not going to be a major decision maker. Yes, you're a front runner by default of having a little bit more common sense than Rick Perry and Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann and the rest of those clowns. But that's not hard to do. What you have got to do, Cain, is you know, sit back and learn. Period. That's, you know, stop trying to be the president, you know, and you know, and that's the best thing you can do for yourself.
The Republican field of candidates has turned into a circus and a merry-go-round of buffoonery during this period of time as they select their nominee. Why has this field become such a laughingstock throughout the nation?
Anything born of emotionalism is going to produce stupidity. That's all there is. And for something that, you know, the Republican anger has been born of emotionalism for the last 3 years or so. And when you have that, you're not going to have good decision making. You know, that's how the Tea Party was born. And that's how the Tea Party selected their candidates. You know, it's, we're mad at this black president, or we're tired of this, we're tired of the blacks getting this and getting that. You know, so it's based on a lot of irrational decisions and emotionalism by them. And somewhere in the middle of that came up Herman Cain. Herman Cain basically wheeled himself into the mix and surprised a lot of people because he is a good orator and he knows how to win debates and things like this. But these guys, the people he's been running against, are fools anyway. So you know, it hasn't been that hard to do that. But this doesn't mean that he's ready to be the GOP nominee, because I don't think anybody, none of them has proven themselves to be that. You know, so he faces an uphill battle, but it's emotionalism. That's been their fuel.
You know what, Ed? This is something that we've seen before in the state of New York, where we saw a businessman, Carl Palladino, who became the Republican nominee for governor, a man who had no political experience, only lobbying experience, putting his money in places to influence political decisions to benefit his business. Are we seeing the same thing on a national front with an individual such as Herman Cain?
Yeah, well, we're seeing that. It seems to me that Cain is starting to get a little kooky now. I did a little digging into Cain. Cain has come up with something over the past week or so called his 999 plan.
The 999.
Yes. Now, I'll be honest with you, I kept thinking about 999, and what does 999 turn upside down? 666.
Right.
That might be the end for us if he become president.
That's what Michelle Bachmann
and impose this. Did she say that?
She did say that.
I didn't hear that, but it just doesn't look good. The each nine.
He wants to eliminate Medicaid.
He wants to eliminate Medicaid.
Wants to eliminate Social Security.
Yeah, wants to eliminate Social Security like they all do. Here's the funny thing: Medicaid and Social Security helps also a lot of white people who worked all their lives. Okay, for some reason their watermelon-colored glasses, they just see black as benefiting from this. A lot of white people would be hurting in the process.
Let's tell the truth behind it. Why are Republicans so into the privatization of Social Security? The true reason, and which you already know, Chris, is that they want to get their hands in that till of dollars, put it on Wall Street so they can continue to bankrupt this country.
Right.
This is why they want to privatize Social Security. But this is going to be the end of the Republican scare tactic against this country. It's going to be the end of the Republican challenge towards President Obama. Because what you're going to do, you're going to get the highest percentage of voters, which are our seniors, are going to come out against them in droves. Mm-hmm. In droves. Right. Seniors vote in droves.
Yeah.
And Medicaid and Social Security is what a lot of them are depending on. And you've got dangerous people like Herman Cain, mm-hmm. Michelle Bachmann and the others, Rick, our cheerleading Perry, who has now since become front runner, now backseat runner in the Republican race. These things are going to create even more problems. Tell me some more about this Herman Cain. How dangerous is this guy?
Herman Cain just appointed a new economic advisor, some guy named Rich Lowry out of Cleveland. Rich Lowry is educated, but he doesn't possess an economic degree. Okay, he's just a common accountant. Mm-hmm. That's it. He has no authority on economics. Even though Cain says, "Oh yeah, he's an authority on economics," he is. He's educated from that standpoint. He's not. So don't let Cain pull the wool over you. You talked about some of the other plans that Cain has. In that 999 plan, each nine represents something.
Yes.
But it's only going to be temporary. Okay, 9% flat tax for sales tax, federal sales tax. 9%. I think it's called the business transaction tax, and maybe 9%. I'm not sure. I forget what the other third 9 was. But these first two 9s are, in the long run, they're going to be tax cuts.
Yes.
Okay, and which is really going to just funnel more money into the rich. All right, or save more money for them, or whatever the case may be. The third one, which is supposed to be advantageous to us, is only going to be temporary anyway. All right, so. The 999 sounds simple, and Cain has a lot of simple answers for a lot of complicated things, just like a lot of Republicans do. They're not deep thinkers on issues, and that's the one advantage Democrats will always have over them. And because of this, once people look into this, and people are starting to look into it right now, it's not going to last long. All these sound bites and these flowery sayings and everything that Cain has, no. Obama, he beat McCain the first time. Now he's just going to beat Cain. Yeah. So both of them are unable
if he gets
to win. If he gets the nomination.
Now, the person who has stayed steady but not popular is Mitt Romney. Mm-hmm. What is the appeal of Cain over Romney?
That's a good question. Romney's boring.
Yeah.
But I think that's the appeal. Cain does generate some excitement. A lot of people are always waiting to hear what he's going to say. Cain had a good upbringing, but Cain's obviously he's a brother. He's from the hood. He knows how to talk. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to run that street game down, that street lingo. That's how he succeeded with Godfather's Pizza. And that's all well and fine if you're delivering pizza, if you're making pizza. But if you want to run the country, if you want to be commander-in-chief
right.
over the entire three-pronged apparatus of the United States government, you have to bring a lot more to the table.
Well, we're beginning to see that the Republican field is just becoming the laughing stock of modern day politics, and it's getting worse and worse. And the good thing about it, they're making President Obama a better and better choice for a leader in 2012, and that's one of the great things that we're beginning to see from all of they're terrible at debates. Their lack of foreign policy knowledge amongst all of them is scary, and they all are basically banking on the economy, which is the central issue amongst us. Mm-hmm. But none of them have put forth a plan which lifts us out of the trouble which is affected by the one world economy. That's what none of them are talking about. No. How are you going to help Greece? How are you going to help the other countries of the world? Since you've gone to a one world economy, you must have one world knowledge. No matter what you do in this country, it's not going to matter if the rest of the world, which affects your economy, is still going under.
That's right. That's very true. The one you talk about plans, and the plans like Obama has, like the one plan is the healthcare plan. Okay, what's that? 2,000 pages long, 1,000 pages long, whatever the case may be. They come up. The Republicans came up with the one, but I think it was like 20 pages long. I guess it was just some stick figures with, where they were Xing out Obama's plan. You know what I'm saying? They have to look at that plan and figure out, if they want to really, as they promised to do during the midterms, get rid of the HCR, they have to actually understand what they're getting rid of. They have to read it through first.
Right.
And they don't know how to do this. They're doing a lot of things with a lot of wishing and hoping, as emotional people do. But like you say, the Obama's program is much more complicated.
Right.
And it's very broad, and Obama has got some very good people over most of his polls.
Well, and that's the thing. George Bush was reelected in 2004 during one of the worst economic periods of this modern century, and the reason he was reelected was you needed a more consistent person sturdying the ship. That was his theme, and he won on that. Barely won, but he won on that. I think Obama's going to win big. Because a lot of his policies will start coming into fruition within the next 6 to 8 months, especially some of the international policies that he has put in place will start benefiting this country tremendously within the next 6 to 8 months. And this thing on Obamacare is one of the silliest things. Romney is dead in the water on that, because Obamacare was basically modeled after Romneycare, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Romney was the guy who did it. Him and former Senator Kennedy, got together in Massachusetts and put together a very successful socialized medicine program in Massachusetts. And Romney's people met with Obama's people to formalize Obamacare. Yeah. Right. And Obamacare is something that helped out this country.
And it's funny you bring that up, because I remember it's been a long time since I read about that. You're right.
Right.
That's true. And so really, I think they're not really going to really go. I don't see the GOP really going all out to really back Romney anyway.
Right.
Okay. Knowing that type of history, it's going to be very tough for the Republicans, and I'm glad it's going to be tough for them, because they just are not fit to really take over this country.
Let's get back to Herman Cain.
Okay.
He's made some questionable comments involving race. He's against the demonstrations on Wall Street, saying it's un-American. He's also said that racism has not played a role in keeping blacks back in this country. Is this man delusional or on drugs? Should we have him drug tested?
I think all of the above. All right. How does a black man not see this? How does you actually grow? Especially Cain looks like he's roughly our age. Okay. How does he not, somewhere between you and me? Right. All right. So how do you live that long and not notice that, not see that? Okay.
Delusional.
Very delusional. Even if I was given a script and say you got to say that, I can't say this. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't fit. He has been saying a lot of things over the past couple of weeks.
He also said there's a secret conspiracy for Islam to surreal itself into our democracy. where has he been? Islam is a world religion.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to sneak anywhere.
It's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's right here.
It's right here.
You have Islamic representatives. You have a lot of Muslim representatives all over this country, all over this world. Many of them are as American as you or I or anybody else.
That's right.
You cannot make statements like that, general, like Islam is some problem. I mean, this guy is dangerous. And he should not be elected president of anything.
Yeah. You know, somebody put a, matter of fact, I shared a post. I forget the lady's name up on Facebook, but she had a picture, 2 corresponding pictures, one of McCain and one of, what's that character in the Boondocks? The old grouchy black guy who hates black people, hates himself.
I don't know who you're talking about.
You know, I forget it, but they were side by side. They look exactly alike. Okay, and that's what this Herman Cain is looking like more and more of nowadays.
Right.
He is just an angry black man, you know, and you can't discuss the plight of black people. Yeah, which I agree, we deserve some of the blame for that. But he throws out a lot of history when he makes these statements.
Right.
You know, and you know these simple-minded statements that if you are unemployed, that means you deserve to be. He casts a broad umbrella that has been historically cast over black people anyway, and he just basically fits himself right into there.
Right.
Okay. A lot of blacks have not been given the opportunities and education of a Herman Cain, you know, or even a Barack Obama.
Right.
You know, and he knows this. You know, we've had some that have slipped through the cracks historically, but not by and large. So I don't know. He's going to, the way it looks now, he's going to continue to get worse and worse, and you know, it's not going to be good.
You know, I think, Chris, in wrapping up, that what we've continued to see with the Senate voting down the jobs bill, we've seen a Republican coalition of anti-American behavior. Because traditionally, elections are supposed to be elections. Once the election is over with, parties are supposed to work for the betterment of this country.
Right.
They're voting down legislation that will benefit American people so they can make sure, they have publicly said, that I will not do anything to help re-elect Barack Obama. That's what Mitch McConnell said.
Yeah.
This is the behavior that we're seeing in Washington. This is the gridlock. There is so much hate against having a black president that for anybody like Herman Cain to stand up and say race does not keep you back in America, race keeps you back as the president of America.
That's very true. That's a perfect comparison. You know, what's going on here is, on a smaller scale, we saw it when Harold Washington was elected mayor of Chicago. You remember back around 1980, early 80s. Okay? And city council, which is still majority white back then, shut down. I mean, they literally refused to agree or endorse any bill or idea he had on the local level. And we're seeing it, I call that the Harold Washington shutdown, because that's what Obama's going through on a larger scale, is a lot of people just shutting down regarding his ideas, and by doing that, they're trying to delegitimize him. You know, and when you do that, you do the country a large disservice. Okay, because you're not basing your disagreements on you're disagreeing with the policy. You're disagreeing with the skin color. You can't get past skin color. We're going to be living in the past eventually, you know, and it's going to get worse and worse.
Well, I tell you what, we'll be back here on the network next week. Herman Cain, we talked about Herman Cain today. Many of the Republican nominees, the circus of buffoonery continues, and I think they will help in the re-election of Barack Obama to his second term as the 44th President of the United States. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to the network again. We'll be back next week. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week right here on the network.